One of the greatest perks of this job is that I get to fulfill some crazy childhood dreams. But as amazing as it is to drive Ferraris, Lambos and Porsches, it's the hot hatches that have always excited me the most. Why? Because they're attainable. It's about realistic performance. And there's been one car that has always been a firm favorite. Wow, some really incredible memories. Yes, it is the Megane that fired up the competitive side of my driving. And because it is the RS, of course we are at the racetrack. But the all-new Megane R.S. is a very different beast. Boy racers grow up, they get married, have families, and Renault has responded by bringing out their first 5-door Megane R.S. and also dialed back the hardcore boiky styling elements. I love it. It's 60mm wider up front than a standard Megane, and with the C-shaped signature front end, its race face is purposefully displayed. The checkered flag-inspired RS Vision multi-reflector not only looks good, but cleverly serves to illuminate through cornering, side lighting, as well as providing a highly effective long-range high beam. The F1-inspired blade finishes the front end off nicely. The RS Lux comes standard with 18-inch gunmetal grey Estoril mags, but seen here are the 19-inch Interlagos black and diamond cut rims that are standard on the RS Cup, but more about the two models later on. The significantly wider track over the standard Megane flares out those wheel arches beautifully, and the vents and spoiler finish off the side profile menacingly. The rear end is dominated by the F1-inspired diffuser and a massive centrally mounted exhaust pipe. Pick an angle, any angle. The RS is hot. The interior has also grown up a little. It's all blacks and greys. There's Alcantara and even cloth dressed like carbon fiber. And there's of course the blood-pumping red detailing and stitching. There is a 7-inch digital instrument display which is linked to the RS's multi-sense button, so it changes personality along with the car. The 8.7-inch TFT touchscreen best displays these personalities, of which there are 4. Comfort, which is Eco mode for the RS, Neutral, which is the default setting, and then you get Sport and of course, the one I love, Race mode. The R-Link 2 system is easy to use with fast buttons on the side to get you around quicker. Navigation is of course standard, and smartphone integration is made easy with 2 USBs and a host of apps included. And of course, with RS Monitor, you have all the telemetry only a genuine racing driver would know what to do with, but it can be saved and shared. That's nice. And in true Renault fashion, it has everything auto as standard. Lights, wipers, mirrors, and seat warmers if you aren't driving by the seat of your pants. And I really do love these Alcantara clad bucket seats. Comfortable, super supportive, and surprisingly very easy to get into. So what's new on Megane RS? Well, it started with a 1.8 litre twin scroll turbo engine, 205 kilowatts, 390 newton meters of torque. I mean, these are some seriously impressive figures. Class leading, in fact, on the torque front. But the bit that is the most talked about is the 4 control. This is where you actually get to have the most amount of fun. This car is so compliant and drivable. It's a front wheel drive, and I can get the back end to do that. So let's try and put 4 control into layman's terms. Essentially at low speeds below 60 kilometers an hour. The rear wheels actually turn in an opposite direction to the front wheels, up to a maximum of 2.7 degrees. When you go faster, speeds over 60 kilometers an hour, the rear wheels actually then turn the same angle as the front wheels up to a maximum of 1 degrees. So that gives you great turn in at low speeds and maximum stability at high speeds. But what is cool is when you do put it into race mode, that speed is up from 60 to 100. And what that means is when you are pitching it through the corners, you get unbelievable control and drivability through the rear of the car, something unheard of in a front-wheel drive car. Something else that is also really new and very, very cool, I'm obviously riding in the EDC mode, so it's actually got multi-shift down. So like there, I'm going in 5th, I hold the left paddle and actually drops me down into the ideal gear that I want to be in, which is 3rd. Incredible. Another new tech that no one else has, and this is inspired by rally, is when your shock gets to the end of its travel, instead of having that gunk noise, it actually just dissipates that. So that's going to make a massive difference when you're driving your car nice and sedately and you're dealing with the bumps that are so synonymous with our South African roads. But from a performance perspective, it eliminates wheel chatter. So your wheel stays in contact with the road maximum amount of time, and that's what you want as a driver. And this, funnily enough, is the Lux. So the Lux gives me the 6-speed EDC. Very, very cool. Works very, very well. But if I go for the Cup, I get the 6-speed manual, but listen to this, I then get the Cup suspension and I get a proper torsion limited slip differential. So what I'm doing now in this Lux car is just basically a sports chassis, and it is handling like this. I love this car. But I'll tell you I love it. Oh, hang on, you know what, if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe these two guys.
Unbelievable. Probably the best out-the-box front-wheel drive car I've ever driven.
It's got tremendous amount of grip and very easy to drive car, so we're very impressed with it.
It's the first time I've ever driven a car with 4-wheel steering, and I was skeptical, I have to be honest, but it makes a big difference.
Every time you go, how do you improve this thing? Boom, there it is, always better, you know.
So the hardcore performance and drivability has definitely not been diluted. In fact, it's now even better. But it's this other new personality that makes the most sense from an ownership perspective. A performance machine that now delivers on practicality and comfort. And it is on normal roads that the Jekyll and Hyde of the different modes are most noticeable, where 4-control steering has real safety benefits, and the suspension with hydraulic compression stop actually makes the firm setup a more comfortable daily driver. Now, we've spoken a lot about the boy racer growing up, but the reality is that the hot hatch is also priced up. You're looking at least 600,000 Rand for this type of performance, and the type of person that has that money lying around is generally an older buyer. So it makes complete sense that Renault has gone with the 5-door configuration and dialed back on the styling. But the real genius for me is that Renault has gone and taken the RS and split it into 2 cars. You've got the Lux and you've got the Cup. So if you're a person that wants performance, but you want more practicality and comfort, well, then you go for the Lux. If you are the true track-focused petrolhead, well, then you go for the Cup. Why? It gives you a 6-speed manual. It also gives you a torsion limited slip diff and the Cup chassis. So this already brilliant Lux handler is going to be an absolute beast on the track in Cup mode. 2 cars for the same price. It's brilliant. And talking about the price, 550,000 Rand. Yes, you heard me right. So essentially you are getting Golf R performance for Golf GTI price. That's brilliant. Oh, and don't forget, the trophy is still to come.